Okay, so the quiz is on the screen. It's multiple correct. So ABD, most of you have got it correct. ABD, let's look at the first one, of course, is for exams and tests are primarily summative assessment instruments. We know that. Frequent low-stakes assessments with feedback improve student learning. That's the whole heart of the formative assessment. So this is true, it does improve learning. Summative assessment should assess only conceptual knowledge. That's not true. We can give projects, we can actually have them sit in the lab and do lab exam, so they can test the skills also. So this is not true. C is not true. D, summative assessment should assess the level of achievement of LOs by students. That's, of course, again true, that's what you want to do. Okay, let's have a little discussion on, so I've just put down a few scenarios. These are just few things that I think many of us might use. And let's first take the first one. And so I want to just, what is the primary purpose? As we mentioned, almost all assessment instruments will have both supporting the student learning and also will contribute to the grade, right? But the primary purpose, is it primarily to support student learning, or is it primarily to assess the students' learning? So A, what students raise, you raise a question in the class and assess the student's response. Is it formative or summative? Formative for learning, summative for assessing. Just type it in. Just A, we're just talking about A. Is it formative or is it summative? You type in one word. Right. Okay, formative, good. Sounds good. Clearly formative. You raise a question, you're not even assessing, you're not even giving a marks, you're assessing the responses of the students, right? A very clear formative thing, and then you'll correct it. No, this is not right, this is not right. Let's look at B. Give a short online quiz which the student can attempt multiple times till she gets it right. All right. So almost all of you are saying formative. Indeed, it is formative. There's no way you can use it for assessing the learning. Well, you can, perhaps, as to how many times the student tries can be an indicator of how well. But hey, look, in the end, the student has learned because she got it right. So this is a well-established technique for formative assessment to help the student learn. She answers, immediately the feedback comes. It's actually giving a question, giving a feedback, and the student corrects till it gets it right. A proctored lab, now we're doing C, a proctored lab test in which the students are asked to individually do something, and which is 10% of the final grade. Right? So this is, many of you have said summative, quite correct. We are not giving feedback. We are proctoring it. It's a formal setting. And the students are doing it individually. It has high stakes. 10% of the grade is at stake. Give an assignment which students are not required to submit, but they are told that some questions of it will come from the exam, in the exam. D. So it's an assignment. Assignments are mostly formative. But you're saying that this, so there is no feedback here because you're not asking them to submit. But by saying that there will be some questions in the exam, you are in some sense, without giving it any marks. So you're not submitting, therefore it's 0 marks. But you are ensuring, hoping to ensure that they will actually do the assignment, even though they're not required to submit and even though there's no marks. So therefore, they would learn. And since there's 0 marks, they can discuss and they can get inputs from anyone. So presumably feedback will come from there. So it is a form, it is a style of formative assessment. Okay. And the last point of discussion, this is more a reflective thing. So I would, and also for me to get an input, if you can type in, list maybe one assessment or two assessment instruments you currently use in your course, other than exams. Okay, term paper, case study, good. So which you use, please don't give theoretical answers. I would like to know what you actually give. Okay. Assignments, quizzes, projects, yes. Good, yeah. Project and quiz. Mid-sem is an exam. Assignment, of course, right, assignment. Course certificate. Okay, I am not too sure I understand. Coursera. Again, I'm not too sure I understand. Exercises, okay. MOOC courses, but how you ask them to, what is the feedback you're giving, or you ask them to read. I mean, okay, I'm not too sure that that's an assessment instrument of any kind. You just tell them, you read up, you go into the net, you go to NPTEL courses. If after MOOC or NPTEL courses, if you have discussions or small quizzes or some small this thing, then I can understand. Please go and read that. That's actually more of teaching style, by the way, since somebody has mentioned that. That's more aspect of teaching. We discussed in teaching that you don't have to lecture on every topic that you cover. You can legitimately say, as part of your teaching, hey, look, this is something simple. Please go and read this up and we'll ask. Or you can say, hey, look, this is beautifully explained in a MOOC course, this lecture, or an NPTEL course, this lecture. You please go and learn from there. So that's part of lecturing. That's part of your teaching. It's not really part of assessment. Assessment is something you're getting data to get feedback on, which you will use to strengthen students' learning or which you will use to assess students. Oral presentation, absolutely. So to have the students do some activity based on whatever, based on MOOC lecture, your lecture, textbook, doesn't matter. That activity is assessment, no doubt about it. That activity is assessment.